Hey there, welcome back to StickItReal, where we keep things simple, real, and all about helping you live your best life in 2025. Let's start with a little confession. Last week, I had this huge project due for work, and guess what I did instead of starting it? I spent 3 hours organizing my sock drawer. Yep, 3 hours. I knew I was procrastinating, but somehow matching socks felt so much more important than writing a report that was due in 2 days. Does that sound familiar to you? I bet you've had those moments too, when you know you need to get something done, but suddenly cleaning the fridge or binge watching a new show feels way more appealing. Procrastination is something we all deal with, and it can make us feel stuck, stressed, and honestly kind of guilty, right? But here's the good news. What if I told you that conquering procrastination is actually way easier than you think? I know, it sounds too good to be true, but stick with me, because I'm about to share a super simple 3-step method that's been a total game changer for me. And I know it can be for you too. I call it the Start Now switch, and it's all about getting you unstuck and taking action in just a few minutes. No overthinking, no complicated systems, just real, actionable steps you can use today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 steps of the Start Now switch, share a story of how it helped me finally tackle that work project I was avoiding, and give you some extra tips to make sure procrastination doesn't stand in your way anymore. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, easy plan to start any task you've been putting off. Whether it's studying for an exam, cleaning your space, or even starting a new hobby. So, let's dive in and make procrastination a thing of the past, because trust me, you've got this. Before we get into the solution, let's talk about why procrastination feels so hard to overcome in the first place. Have you ever noticed how the longer you put something off, the bigger and scarier it feels in your head? It's like the task grows into this giant monster that's impossible to tackle. For me, that work project I mentioned earlier, it started as a simple report, but by the time I'd spent days avoiding it, it felt like I had to write a 500-page novel or something. I'd sit there thinking, there's no way I can get this done. It's too much. I don't even know where to start. And that's the thing with procrastination. It's not just about being lazy. It's about that mental block, that feeling of overwhelm that stops us before we even begin. And let's be real, procrastination doesn't just mess with our productivity. It messes with our emotions too. Every time I'd walk by my laptop and see it sitting there, I'd feel this pang of guilt, like I was letting myself down. I'd tell myself, I'll do it later, but later never came, and the stress just kept building. Maybe you felt that too, like when you've got a deadline looming or a task you know you need to do, but you just can't bring yourself to start, and it eats away at you. It's frustrating, isn't it? But here's the thing I've learned. Procrastination isn't about willpower, and it's definitely not about being bad at getting things done. It's about how we approach the task in the first place. And that's where the Start Now switch comes in. It's a way to flip that mental switch and get moving, even when you don't feel like it. So, let's break down the 3 steps that make conquering procrastination so much easier than you might think. Step 1. Shrink the task. All right, let's get into the first step of the Start Now switch, shrinking the task. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do you shrink something that feels like a giant mountain of work? Here's the secret. You don't have to tackle the whole mountain at once. Instead, you're going to break it down into a tiny, bite-sized piece that takes just 2 minutes to do. Yep, just 2 minutes. The idea here is to make the task so small that it feels ridiculous not to do it. Let me give you an example. With that work project I was avoiding, I kept thinking I had to write the entire report in one sitting, which felt impossible. But instead, I asked myself, what's one thing I can do in 2 minutes to get started? And for me, that was opening my laptop and writing the first sentence. That's it, just one sentence. It sounds almost too simple, right? But that's the point. When a task is that small, there's no room for excuses. You can't tell yourself, oh, I don't have time, because come on, we all have 2 minutes. So, whatever you've been procrastinating on, I want you to think about it right now. What's one tiny action you can take that'll take 2 minutes or less? If you're putting off studying, maybe it's grabbing your textbook and opening it to the first page. If you need to clean your room, maybe it's picking up one item and putting it away. If you've been meaning to reply to an email, maybe it's just opening your inbox and typing the first line. The goal here isn't to finish the whole task, it's to get started, because starting is always the hardest part. And here's the magic of this step. Once you take that first tiny action, you'll often find yourself wanting to keep going. It's like your brain switches from, I can't do this, to, oh, I'm already doing it. Might as well keep going. So, that's step 1. Shrink the task into a 2-minute action, and you're already on your way to beating procrastination. Step 2. Set a timer and start. Now that you've shrunk the task, let's move on to step 2. Set a timer and start. This step is all about making it official, giving yourself permission to stop after those 2 minutes if you want to, but also creating a little sense of urgency to get moving. Here's how it works. Grab your phone or a timer, set it for 2 minutes, and hit start. Then, do that tiny action you identified in step 1. For me, with my work project, I set my timer, opened my laptop, and wrote that first sentence. And let me tell you, it felt so good to just do something, even if it was small. The timer is key here because it takes away the pressure of thinking you have to keep going forever. You're only committing to 2 minutes, and if you want to stop after that, you totally can. No guilt, no stress. But here's what I've found, and I bet you'll find the same thing. Once that timer starts, you'll probably keep going past the 2 minutes without even realizing it. That's what happened to me with my project. I wrote that first sentence, and before I knew it, the timer went off, but I was already in the zone, so I kept writing. I ended up writing a whole paragraph, then a whole page, all because I gave myself permission to start small. It's kind of funny how our brains work, isn't it? We build things up to be so hard, but once we start, it's like, oh, this isn't so bad after all. So, step 2 is simple. Set a timer for 2 minutes, start your tiny action, and see where it takes you. You'll be amazed at how much you can get done once you get that initial push. Step 3. Celebrate the win. All right, we're on to the third and final step of the Start Now switch. Celebrate the win. This step is so important, and honestly, it's one of my favorites because it makes the whole process feel so rewarding. Here's what you do. Once you've completed that 2-minute action, or if you kept going longer, even better, take a moment to celebrate. I'm not talking about throwing a party or anything, but give yourself a little pat on the back. I like to say, nice job, you did it, out loud to myself. It sounds silly, but it works. You can also do a little happy dance, give yourself a mental high five, or just smile and say, I'm proud of myself. The point is to acknowledge that you took action, even if it was small, because that's a win worth celebrating. Why does this matter? Because celebrating these small wins helps rewire your brain to associate starting tasks with positive feelings, instead of stress or dread. When I finished that first sentence of my report, I said to myself, look at you, you're actually doing this. And that little moment of celebration made me feel so motivated to keep going. Over time, as you keep using the Start Now switch, these celebrations will make you feel more confident about tackling tasks, and procrastination will start to lose its grip on you. So that's step 3, celebrate the win, no matter how small, and let that positive energy carry you forward. How it worked for me. Let me share a quick story about how the Start Now switch helped me finally conquer my procrastination on that work project I was avoiding. After days of putting it off, and yes, organizing my sock drawer instead, I decided to give this method a try. Step 1, I shrunk the task. I told myself, all I need to do is write one sentence, just one. Step 2, I set a timer for 2 minutes, opened my laptop, and started typing. That first sentence was something super simple, like, this report will outline our team's progress. Nothing fancy, but it was a start. And step 3, I celebrated the win. I literally said out loud, nice job, you're on your way. And you know what? That tiny action broke through all the mental blocks I'd built up. I kept writing past the 2 minutes, and by the end of the hour, I'd written 3 whole pages. Way more than I ever thought I'd get done that day. The best part? I didn't feel stressed or overwhelmed anymore. That small start gave me the momentum I needed to keep going, and I ended up finishing the report a day early, which never happens for me. It felt so good to not only get it done, but to actually enjoy the process, because I wasn't forcing myself to do too much at once. The Start Now switch made something that felt impossible feel totally doable, and I know it can do the same for you. Whether you're putting off a big project, a small chore, or even something fun like starting a new hobby, this method works because it's so simple and takes away all the pressure. Before we wrap up, I want to share a couple of quick tips to make sure the Start Now switch really sticks for you. First, keep your timer handy. Whether it's on your phone or a little kitchen timer, having it ready makes it so easy to jump into step 2 whenever you need a push. Second, if you find yourself slipping back into procrastination mode, don't beat yourself up. Just pick another 2-minute task and start again. Progress, not perfection, is what we're going for here. And finally, try pairing this method with something you enjoy, like playing your favorite song while you do your 2-minute action. I love putting on an upbeat tune to get me in the mood, and it makes starting feel so much more fun. So there you have it. Conquering procrastination really is easier than you think, thanks to the 3-step Start Now switch. To recap, shrink the task into a 2-minute action, set a timer and start, and celebrate the win to keep yourself motivated. You've got everything you need to get unstuck and start taking action today, and I'm so excited for you to try this out. I'd love to hear how it goes, so let me know in the comments. What's one task you're going to tackle with the Start Now switch? Share your wins with me. I can't wait to cheer you on. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss more tips to make 2025 your best year yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's keep it real with Stick It Real.